Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher.
Here.
Joe Crowell.
Here.
Linda Dansby.
Present.
Joe Machado.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Tony Webb. ZANE CANTRELL.
Present.
Okay, with Mr. Webb absent, our records do show that Joe Machado will be the voting alternate.
Okay. Thank you for that information. We have the September 9th meeting minutes that was mailed out to you. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes? Do I have a motion that be approved?
Make a motion to be approved as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. They are approved. We have one item of business before us, a request, and this is from Richard McKinney, who is requesting a conditional use permit for approval of a portable barbecue stand.
Application 2009-51, filed by Richard McKinney, with the property owners being Doug Young and Ben McFarland, is located at 155 West Jefferson Pike. It's a 1-acre site that's zone services. The applicant is seeking conditional use approval to allow the establishment of a portable barbecue stand in the services zoning district. In 2008, the applicant had received Type 1 temporary conditional use approval to operate the stand from June 5th, 2008 to November 5th, 2008. And it was subject to 4 conditions, as you will see in your report. He was issued another Type 1 temporary conditional use this year for July 6th through September 9th, and he was notified that he needed to apply for a Type 2 conditional use permit to stay for an extended period of time at the site, and that's what you are reviewing tonight. The portable unit is set up in the parking lot between the berm and the building, and you will see that in the pictures I'm going to show you. The applicant, Rick McKinney, and his wife will operate the stand. There are no additional employees that will work the proposed stand. Based on the application, the applicant proposed that the stand will be on the site approximately 2 to 3 days a week, and it will serve food for approximately 4 to 6 hours a day. This particular site has been the subject of 3 zoning cases where 2 of the uses, a daycare and a carry-out restaurant, were never established, but the antique store is now established in the existing building, which is a non-conforming structure of record. The barbecue stand is mobile, and staff does not see that its existence at the site has had a negative impact to the surrounding area. The applicant is seeking approval of a permanent use proposed to be located in the mobile structure on the property that contains a non-conforming structure in record. The site's access off of Mandy Lane, which is a 2-lane local street, and that access point was required as part of the Type 3 conditional use permit approved in 2007. Staff recommends approval of a temporary conditional use permit, finding that it generally meets the criteria with the exception of 7.02b. And this is the site. It's located off of Jefferson Pike and Mandy Lane. And the existing building is outlined in blue. This is the stand in question. It's on a chassis, as you'll see, and it's located in the front paved area of the antique store. Surrounding structures on site adjacent to this property. That's looking towards the school. It's the paved area, and the Mandy Lane. And the antique store. Lots of photos, sorry. That's the site plan that was submitted as part of the zoning application in 2007, showing the access point, the location of the mobile stand, and the existing building. Any questions?
Thank you. Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please, to the podium. Just give your name and any additional information you might have. Yes, please.
I am Dawn McKinney. I'm Richard McKinney's wife. I run the stand. I'm there 3 days a week. And we love it there. We love the people. So we're just, we'd like permission to stay there and continue running our business.
Have you looked at the requirements, the additional requirements, one which would allow this for a year with extended approval? Is this going to be a permanent stand? Is this?
I would like it to be until like maybe in the later date. I mean, we'd like to have a restaurant in the future, but we're happy, doing this right now.
But you plan, you operate it 3 days a week,
Right.
is that right? And you plan on this being permanent?
Right. I would like it to
Okay.
be, yeah.
If it moved to a restaurant, then you would move inside the building
Right.
with it?
Right.
Okay.
I
Now,
don't see-
another requirement is a portable barbecue stand must be removed from the site each night. Would that be a problem, moving it?
I would like to ask that we could leave it there, because it is big and bulky, and it would be a lot easier to leave it there at night. I mean, if we had to move it at night, I mean, we would, but I'd rather leave it.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Keith?
Just about it, talking about it being mobile, I mean, leaving it there every night.
Mhm.
If you leave it there, I mean, you're saying you want it there permanently, you're saying business, but you're still always going to have it on that trailer where it could be moved if at any time if it
Yes,
need be.
yes, I
Okay.
can move it anytime.
I understand. Thank you.
Joe?
This is the Danielle. Have there had any complaints against it?
No, sir.
No complaints.
Joe Machado?
Are you inspected by the state of Tennessee?
Yes, we've been inspected by the health department. We have a 96.
Oh.
We made a mistake like with the broom and little things like that.
Okay.
Linda?
Well, I just noticed here on our comments that we're considering this for a year only and not considering it as a permanent structure. Is that the way the application reads, or is that what
No.
staff's recommending?
The application read for it to be approved permanently, and staff was recommending for a period of 1 year.
Of 1
So-
year,
Yes.
but it can be renewed. They can come back, just like a fireworks stand in a way. You get 1
That-
year's approval with a possible 3 months extension. Then you can come back and ask for a renewal of that extension, because we are in sort of a study period with our land use. And having this as a temporary structure and not a permanent restaurant yet, you might be able to make it a permanent restaurant, and that changes everything.
That was the logic that was used when we recommended the 1 year.
Okay, thank you very much. It was not her request.
Pardon?
It was not her request.
The request was to remain there indefinitely.
Okay, thank you.
And it could be extended for 3 months after that. Or that 3 months extension could be added on to that, which you might want to consider that. Okay. Joe, did you have another question? Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We'll have a motion on it.
I'll make a motion to be approved.
Have a motion that it be approved. Do we want to amend any of those?
I do, but I want to make sure I understand about what we were just now talking about. On the, if they come back, if we prove this and they come back, they would have to come back every year. Is that correct?
Okay, the temporary conditional use permit for 1 year period. There was a couple conditions that you had about moving it from the site and then the 1 year, but your question is, yes, it would be treated as if it was a fireworks stand, similar to the fireworks stand.
Okay. I'm just saying, normally I know when we approve a conditional use permit, they just come up usually for every 2 years, you know, to see if everything's still in compliance. But what you all are suggesting on this right here, being a business like this, that we do it on a yearly basis, correct?
That's what staff's recommendation is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'll make that part of my motion, and I would also like to amend or make it part of the motion that they not have to remove it nightly to let it remain on the
Okay,
premises.
we've got two amendments here. You want a 2-year. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
2
sir.
years. Okay, and the other part of that is to drop the moving it out of sight each night.
Correct.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and amendment of those requirements. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second. Any discussion? Linda, do you have some discussion? Okay. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Keith,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Jerry,
No.
Zane,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. It's approved. With those amendments, you may need to talk to the folks in the planning, make sure you know what you're up against when they come out to review. The next item we have before us is a deferral amendment to the Board of Zoning and Appeals, and as I understand this, we need to make a recommendation here tonight for this. Is that right?
Actually, you vote to approve or disapprove.
Yeah. Okay, we have that before us. You have the memorandum from the planning director. Do we have any discussion? Okay. Linda?
I don't know that this is in the record, but for the record, is this is requiring a 90-day resolution to any deferral. Is that correct?
It allows applicants to ask for a deferral for up to 3 months from the time of application submittal. If that time has lapsed and they've not appeared before the board and no action's been taken, they would be required to reapply.
And is this consistent with the Planning Commission?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion on this. We will ask that a roll call on it too.
I move to approve it.
Have a motion that be approved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Keith,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Zane,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay. Do we have any other items?
We had discussed this at the pre-meeting, the accessory structures and the language that's going to be presented to the Planning Commission. If you had some thoughts that you wanted staff to communicate to the Planning Commission, or you can communicate them as individual planning members or
Okay.
Board of Zoning Appeals.
Do we have any thoughts that we want to pass on to the Planning Commission concerning this? Jerry?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was trying to, and maybe I misunderstood the intent. I'd like, the way I'm understanding it is so that someone can get their mini barn or something built before they put their house in there. And we're saying that we don't want that to happen for anything under 5 acres. I still don't understand why.
there's no provision currently that addresses, there's no provision currently that addresses, but the 5 acres was just proposed. If you felt, as a Board of Zoning Appeals member, that it should be reduced or they should consider it as a smaller area, then we could forward your comments to the Planning Commission, or you could appear at the meeting and discuss it with them as a Board of Zoning Appeals member.
Okay, that was just an observation.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a recommendation other than the 5 acres? That's always been traditional. Do you think that needs to be cut down?
Well, we've never really talked about it, but there's a lot of folks have maybe 1 or 2 acres. 5 acres is a pretty good plot of ground. And if you have 5 acres, usually you have resources for tractors and things that are more agricultural, that you don't really have the problem with needing the mini barn anyway. But someone that has a 2-acre parcel somewhere that they keep mowed off and they just want to put your traditional haul in on a truck mini barn to put some mowers in, this doesn't really help them at all. That was my.
Would you take that to the Planning Commission as a concern of this board about the 5-acre lot, and let them discuss that and see what their thinking is on it, especially this day and time with the smaller lots? I think maybe they ought to look at a 2-acre minimum. There may be some good reasons for the 5 acres. I don't know. Mr. Attorney, do you have any advice on this? Why they would choose, why we're continuing with this 5 acres? Is there any legal reason? Okay. Could you do that?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. Any other items? We don't need to vote on any of this. Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.